Piranha 3DD is a 2012 creature feature directed by John Gallagher. The deadly prehistoric piranha are back, and this time they've got their eyes set on a newly opened water park. But before we get into this bonkers bloodbath, I just want to ask that if you end up enjoying this video, then please think about hitting that like button and subscribing to my channel. And if you do, make sure to hit the bell icon so you never miss any of my videos. It would really help me out. So thanks. Also, there will be full spoilers ahead, but if that doesn't bother you, then grab your fossilised trilobite flavoured popcorn and whip out your water park suitable stilts as we dive into Piranha 3DD in 2D.
So what's the other D for?
Boobs, I believe.
Oh, I see. How clever.
Oh, by the way, I was being sarcastic.
So the movie begins with a news broadcast recapping the Spring Break massacre from the first movie.
Aye, there were these proper nasty fish and they started biting folk, eh? I just came down to have a look at all the bums and that, eh? But then I saw all this blood and folk in the water. Dead, eh?
Then we see these two bubbles saying, "Hey Bob, I'll race you to the surface. Last one there's a twat."
That's not fair. You know I'm not as fast as you, Christopher.
Back on the surface we see these two fellas going for a good old midnight lake wade, one of which is probably Gary Busey, but also probably not Gary Busey. Anyway, they're searching for their missing cow apparently. Why they decided to do this at night and why they're looking for a cow in a lake is beyond me, but they do actually find it, and it's dead. So they decide to drag it to shore, but when fake Gary hooks it, he triggers the dead cow's defensive countermeasures and it explodes! Turns out it was also full of piranhas for some reason, which start nibbling the two fellas to death like... But fake Gary is like,
"Silly fish, you don't eat fake Gary. Fake Gary eats you."
But then they do eat him. The next day we see the owner of this water park filming an advert for its grand opening in 2 days. I'm going to call him Whammy. But then his stepdaughter turns up who notices a load of topless ladies swimming in the pool.
Tell me you did not fire our old lifeguards and replace them with strippers.
No, of course I didn't. Oh, thank God. They're prostitutes. I'm going to call her Short Shorts. Who likes short shorts? Bum, 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 ba-dum, bum, bum.
Ken likes short shorts.
Little perv. Then we meet some of Short Short's friends. We've got Red Sparkles and Blue Sparkles, as well as Plaid the Chad and Short Short's best friend, 4-Foot Phil. Then these two idiots almost kill a police officer with some fireworks, which he just brushes off like it's nothing. Oh, and he's Short Short's boyfriend, apparently. I'm going to call him Officer Underpants, because there's a good chance he's wearing underpants. Elsewhere, Plaid the Chad and Blue Sparkles are having a deep and meaningful conversation by the lakeside.
I love the water.
It's, really wet.
Yeah, I'm going to have to fact check that. Yep, turns out he's correct.
What are you thinking about?
Sugar gliders. Why? Because they're obscenely cute! Obviously! Then they decide to go for a nuddy swim, but unbeknownst to them there's some tiny piranhas knocking about, and one of them... Did that fish just go where I think it went?
Yes, I believe it did.
Anyway, she thinks Plaid is getting a bit too frisky a bit too quickly, so she cuts the swim short. Meanwhile, Red Sparkles is playing a game of Gerald's game with her fella, but instead of having a heart attack, she accidentally kicks off the handbrake, which makes the van thirsty as fuck. And it's like, "Van crave moisture! Must drink lake!" So the van is now filling up with H2O, no! And to make matters worse, Red Sparkles has dropped the key to the cuffs. And instead of looking for it like his life depends on it, because, you know, it does, she says,
I gotta go for help.
"Get back here!" As if anyone is going to arrive to help before the poor bastard succumbs to water-lung asphyxiation.
Don't you mean drowning?
Ah, that's the one. And just in case poor Mr. Cuff's day couldn't get any shitter, he starts getting eaten by piranhas. Help! I am being eaten by the fishes! Leaving Red Sparkles alone on top of the sinking van shouting, "Somebody help me! I'm too beautiful to die!"
Oh, so you are. Sorry about that, love. We'll leave you be.
Really?
No, not really. We're gonna munch you good.
The next day, and there's quite a lot of people enjoying this water park considering it's not open yet. But at least it's keeping 4-Foot Phil busy, as he's not only litter picking but practising his trident throwing at the same time. Talk about killing 2 stones with 1 bird. A pickaxe bird, just in case you were wondering. But then he notices his colleague sticking a dick in the water flow pipe in the pool. Good lord, there's desperate. And then there's that. I'm going to call him Pumple Stinks Ming. Anyway, Short Shorts is wondering why Red Sparkles and Mr. Cuffs haven't turned up for work this morning, but no one's seen them. Then suddenly Blue Sparkles blows chunks everywhere because she's got a piranha in her system. Then Pumple turns up and in a decision I simply cannot fathom, jumps in her sick.
Who in their right mind would jump in someone's sick?
The guy who sticks his pickle in the water flow pipe. That's who. Elsewhere, Officer Underpants is overseeing the retrieval of the very thirsty van from the lake, but unfortunately there's nothing inside except an excess of fur. Blue Sparkles is sad that her red sparkly counterpart has gone missing, so she goes for a La Lake toe dip to cheer herself up. Short Shorts joins her but doesn't want to get her Converse wet, so she doesn't dip. But then they start getting attacked by piranhas, so it's probably a good idea to get off the jetty before... Oh no, they've started breaking through it! Oh, and now Blue Sparkles is falling in the water! Oh, she's out, thank God. Oh, now her leg's fallen through! Oh, it's out again. Oh, now they can get off the... Oh no, the jetty's split in two! Oh, don't worry, she can just jump over. No, don't put your hands in the water, for God's sake! Oh, now they've both fallen in! Oh! I genuinely don't think they could have made a bigger mess of that situation than they did. I'd be impressed if I wasn't so flabbergasted. Anyway, they somehow managed to swim to shore without getting bitten once. And then a piranha, which is severely lacking any sense of self-preservation, decides to jump onto land to attack them, despite not being able to breathe. They quickly splat it with a big rock to end its suffering quicker. Then 4-foot Phil turns up and is like, I think we should go and see Doc from the first movie so he can tell us more about these fish baddies. So Officer Underpants takes Short Shorts and Phil to go see him.
This better be good. I was getting ready for my 9 p.m. salmon slap.
Yo, what? Oh, never mind. We were attacked by piranhas and need you to give us some unnecessary exposition. So he lets them in and shows them the piranha he kept from the first movie. For some reason he puts a sheet of metal in the tank with a frog on the other side to show the gang that it'll try and break through to get it. But what I want to know is where did all the teeth dents go? Continuity. Error!
These piranha spent eons living in underground lakes.
That's fascinating, Doc, but tell me, how much cocaine did you sprinkle on your cornflakes this morning?
Yes.
Anyway, he tells them that the piranha have likely been moving through interconnected tunnels between lakes or some nonsense like that, so they might just swim up some man-made drains too, which is quite problematic as the water park drains into the lake. So Short Shorts dives in to make sure the drainage system hasn't been broken into, while Officer Underpants says,
You let her go in there alone.
Says her boyfriend standing on dry land next to him. The wanker. Anyway, the drain looks fine, but then Short Shorts gets attacked by a piranha, forcing Officer Underpants to get his kecks wet. But he does manage to save her. The wanker. Meanwhile, Plaid is looking after an unwell Blue Sparkles, and she says,
Make love to me. I think something's really wrong with me.
Between the tears running down your face and what you just said, I think I'd have to pass. But Plaid the Chad's brain is lodged firmly in his phallus, so he hops to it. Things seem to be going well with the usual oohs and ahs and the like, but then if you can believe it, the piranha inside Blue Sparkles bites down on Plaid's trouser trout, and he is understandably upset. So while Blue Sparkles has a seizure, he decides the best way to remove said fish from said Johnson is to amputate his manhood with a kitchen knife.
How did it come to this?
Soon after, Blue Sparkles comes round and finds the knobless Plaid, who shouts,
What the hell did you do to me?
I have no idea, but it appears that you've cut your own knob off, you fucking stupid bastard! Elsewhere, 4-foot Phil is checking Short Shorts is okay after her piranha attack, and says, Man, between crazy old Dr. Doc and your close call in the lake, I don't think anyone's had a crazier night than us.
Josh cut off his penis because something came out of my vagina.
I stand corrected.
Said the man in the orthopaedic shoes.
Then we see Short Shorts taking a bath, but it's obviously a dream because a load of piranhas start plopping out of the tap and she doesn't even notice. And yep, there we go, it's a dream. Although she was actually asleep in the bath, which is something I wouldn't recommend if you want to avoid drowning.
You mean water lung asphyxiation?
Ah, that's the one. Meanwhile, in this motel, we got Hauff, taking some time out of his Sharknado schedule to be the celebrity guest for the grand opening of the water park, and it looks like he's about to show us the new song that he's composed. Okay, Hauff, show us what you got. Oh, bloody marvellous. Among the crowd turning up to enjoy the wonders of the water park is that cameraman from the first movie who just disappeared when everything went to shit, and he's got a really drunk Ving Rhames with him. Nah, he's not really drunk, but he is legless. Apparently the piranhas had no interest in him from the thighs up. So Whammy welcomes everyone to the water park and says, Now if anyone finds a toupee floating around, please inform lifeguard Hauff, who will subdue it and return it to my head. Then he finds Short Shorts wondering what this big pump thing is, and tells her that the water for the water park is coming directly from an underground lake. And she's like, But the piranhas are coming from the underground lake. But Whammy doesn't care, cause
I like money.
And before you know it, the little nibbly knobheads have made their way into the water park. One of which bites this kid's leg, so he goes to get a plaster from lifeguard Hauff, who is baffled that the kid doesn't know who he is.
You never saw Baywatch? How about Knight Rider? Anaconda 3?
Hands down the best part of the movie right there. A lady then says she saw a piranha in the water, so Short Shorts tries to get everyone out of the water, but Officer Underpants stops her because he doesn't want her to cause a panic, but also because he's a big meanie. But then shit really kicks off, and the fiendish fish start chowing down on everyone, including Pumple, who is once again sticking a dickin'. Ving ain't putting up with these piranha pricks again though.
Bring me my legs.
So he whips out his new shotgun legs and starts blasting them without ever needing to reload because sod it. Hoof! Sees that kid from earlier in trouble, so he gets his Baywatch on and runs to his rescue.
I actually need a rescue.
Can you pull me down now?
No boy, you are now my son. I shall call you Son of Hoof. Whammy watches in horror as the piranhas make a mess of his guests. Then Short Shorts rocks up and gives him a kick in the jewels and a schmack in the chops.
Did you see him? Did you see him now?
No, all I see is stars and my bruised gooch. She then finds 4-foot Phil and asks him to activate the pool drainage pumps. So he does and helps Pumple remove a piranha latch to his arse along the way. Whammy then decides to cut his losses and tries to take off, but he gets distracted by some jugs and ends up being decapitated by the sharpest bunting known to man. Short Shorts dives into the pool to help get people out, but when Phil activates the pump, she starts getting sucked to the bottom. Officer Underpants initially tries to help her, but admits that he knew about the underwater lake and Whammy paid him off to keep quiet. Then because he's a shithead, he leaves Short Shorts to die! So she gets sucked to the bottom of the pool and is about to get killed by a piranha when Phil launches his trident into it. Nice shot, Phil, but I'm still going to drown. Then the pump breaks because of course it does, which gives 4-foot Phil a chance to rescue Short Shorts, and he gives her the kiss of life, which turns into the kiss of love. Aww. Then Officer Underpants tries to feign heroism by rescuing some gore, before Pumple fills the pipes full of something flammable and lights it with a wee smoky. This causes a chain of explosions which kills all the piranha in the park, and also sends Phil's trident up into the air, and Officer Underpants successfully catches it. With his face. So it's seemingly all over, but then Short Shorts gets a call from Doc who tells her that the piranhas have started to walk on land, which we then see firsthand before one of them bites the head off Son of Hoof. Because that's just hilarious, isn't it?
Oh, by the way, I was being sarcastic.
End of movie. Well, there we have it, folks. Piranha 3DD is a pretty bad sequel, to be honest. It somehow manages to be more gross than the first one, despite not being half as gruesome. It has its moments, to be fair, but most of it just feels kind of cheap and half-arsed. And also, this has got to be one of the shortest movies I have ever seen. From the opening shot to the start of the end credits, it's just shy of 1 hour and 8 minutes long. Now, to be honest, I'm quite thankful that it is. So, Piranha 3DD, what did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you love it? Let me know in the comments below, and from Ken and myself, we wish you a Happy New Year. Now, I'm going to go and sleep off my New Year's hangover. Right here. No, I'm severely uncomfortable. I'm going to bed.